Welcome, and thanks for joining us today for our webinar called The Amazon Opportunity. We're really excited to share with you what that opportunity is, but also share some examples of some strategies on Amazon as well. Let's start with a couple of introductions. My name is Nikki Hayes. I'm the Director of Performance Marketing at Blue Moon Digital, which includes both affiliate marketing and marketplaces, Amazon being one of them. With me today is Kevin Weiss from Amplio Digital, our Amazon marketing partner.
Hi. Thanks, Nikki. It's great to be here, and thanks also to the whole Blue Moon Digital team for having me. As the Director of Client Services, I work with all of the clients that we work with on Amazon to develop a strategy for how to keep up with the rapidly changing Amazon marketplace and take advantage of the opportunities it presents. Really excited to go through some examples today with you.
Great. So today, like Kevin mentioned, we'll be talking about what that opportunity is on Amazon. We'll share some examples of different strategies of brands selling on Amazon currently, and then we'll finish up with getting started. We have reserved some time at the end for Q&A, so along the way, if you do have questions, please submit those via chat on the left-hand side of your screen. So we're going to start today with a quick poll. Does anyone in your household have an Amazon Prime membership? Simply select yes or no there on your screen. Hit the submit button. I'll give everyone a couple seconds to answer. Okay, thanks for answering. It looks like 50% of our audience today has an Amazon Prime membership. That's very similar to the U.S. population. It's been reported 1 in 3 online shoppers in the U.S. have an Amazon Prime membership, which equates to about 50 million consumers. So how did Amazon get to 50 million consumers? The benefits definitely help. The most popular benefit I think everyone is aware of is the free 2-day shipping. They also have same-day shipping in some select cities now, and they keep adding benefits all the time. Most recently, they added on Prime Pantry, which competes with wholesale or warehouse discount clubs like Costco and others, delivering household items directly to your home. My husband and I actually canceled our Sam's Club membership for this very reason. It's much easier to have our paper towels and toilet paper delivered to our house rather than going to the store and shipping them home. So with these benefits, they have acquired those 50 million members and really positioned themselves as the online shopping destination in the U.S. In fact, it's been reported that 44% of those online shoppers actually start their product searches on Amazon. Comparatively, just 34% of online shoppers actually start their searches on search engines like Google, Bing, or Yahoo. When you pair that with other reports, it's been reported by Forbes that 63% of Amazon Prime members actually complete a purchase once they've come to the website and added something to their cart, and 13% of non-Prime members actually complete that purchase while shopping on Amazon. So what this results in is huge success for Amazon. Last year alone, it was reported that they had over $100 billion in revenue, billion with a B. So now I'm going to toss it over to Kevin, and he's going to talk about how to tap into that success, as well as share some live brand examples.
Great. Thanks, Nikki. There are some different options for how to sell on Amazon, and there's 2 primary ones that we'll focus on for today. The first is Seller Central. Seller Central may also be known as 3P or third party. This is where you sell your goods using Amazon's marketplace, and you pay a small commission to Amazon for selling your products on Amazon.com and Amazon properties like Amazon.ca in Canada. Seller Central is a self-serve platform, and anybody can be a seller. So you're probably familiar with this, and when you're shopping online, you don't necessarily know the difference who the seller is, you just know what you're buying. But Seller Central is a very common way to be selling on Amazon. The other way to sell on Amazon is Vendor Central. This is also known as a 1P, or first-party relationship. In these relationships, you establish a wholesaler-retailer relationship with Amazon. You sell your product wholesale to Amazon, and they take care of the rest. They move the inventory, they list the inventory, they price it, and that's how they sell it on Amazon.com. Once again, to the consumer, it's very hard to tell the difference between whether a seller is using Seller Central or Vendor Central. There's a third way to sell on Amazon, which is here on this slide, and that's Vendor Express. It's not as pertinent for our conversation today. It's actually a newer program in general, but there are some folks that are using this, and we've used this in a couple of cases for clients as well. Really quickly, I'd like to touch on the pros and the cons of each of these two different ways of selling on Amazon. Some of the members in today's audience probably have been approached by Amazon or currently have one or more of these relationships in place today. So let's talk a little bit about the pros and cons, and then look at an actual example for each where there's an objective, a strategy, and some of the results. So first up, Seller Central. Seller Central has some pros, some big upside, that you get the most amount of control over how your products are listed. You get to set the price, you pick which products are listed, and you get to choose how they're fulfilled, whether they come from your warehouses or whether they're fulfilled by Amazon from their warehouses. With that control does come the con of it being self-service. It takes a little bit more work and more time to get your listings uploaded. The user interface is not as user-friendly, and for some folks, there's a lack of experience or expertise around how to manipulate the listings so that they look and appear the way that you want, particularly when you have many variations such as sizes and colors. This can be a hurdle for some brands who are trying to sell. But the upside is very strong that you have that maximum control. And also with that control, you get the opportunity for maximum margins as well. On the Vendor Central side, the pros are that Amazon is going to do most of the work for you. Typically, they will approach you as a buyer to establish this relationship. They'll present a contract, and once you sign that contract and start moving with that relationship, they will essentially send you a purchase order, and then you just have to fulfill that purchase order. That's the primary basis of the relationship. They do the work with outsourced teams in India and around the world to actually get your products uploaded, have them listed, and available for sale. All of the products that you sell through Vendor Central are going to be eligible for Prime. So right off the bat, you're going to tap into that Prime customer base. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of folks and a lot of brands will move forward with Vendor Central, this ease of use and ease of penetrating the Amazon marketplace. The downside is that as soon as you enter this wholesale retailer relationship with Amazon, you forfeit control over a number of aspects of how your products are marketed, priced, and sold. You lose that ability to control price. You lose the ability to have tight control over how your products are described and titled. And that can have some unintended consequences across not just a marketing side of the business, not just the wholesale or distributor side of the business, but also supply chain and operationally as well. So with that, let's jump into a couple of examples. We'll start with Seller Central, and then we'll segue into Vendor Central. And these are going to be examples built on the work that we do day in and day out with our clients. So we see here an apparently frustrated face staring at the screen. And typically, the Seller Central strategy will become necessary for this type of person who is looking on Amazon, they're seeing their products that are there, and they're not sure why they're being sold like they are, why they're being described like they are. They don't seem to have control over this channel, which has just sprung up out of nowhere, and somehow their brand is being represented on Amazon. They also perceive that there is money being made on their products, and that money isn't directly going to their brand, hence the frustration here. So the objective for these sellers is to use Seller Central, start taking control, and start building the channel the right way. Here's what that example actually looks like. Now on your screen you see a real Amazon product detail page. Right? This is a listing detail page for Calvin Klein. They sell this sweater. You can buy this on Amazon.com right now. And when you look at this listing, there should be some things that jump out at you, especially if you're a marketer. The first and foremost, you see 1.5 stars on average on 5 customer reviews. So reputation is pretty weak here for Calvin Klein and for this product. The second thing that should jump out is a very minimal set of bullet points. You'll notice the bullet points on the screen here underneath the different color variations, and they're very minimal, right? Imported, machine wash. There's not a whole lot of flavor there to compel a consumer to buy this product. You'll also notice that there's one image, just one image for this product, and that's just not very appetizing for consumers. I'm much less likely to buy this product when I see this listing, and for the folks at Calvin Klein, they're losing out on sales because I'm going to go look at other folks who are taking advantage of what Amazon makes available to them, who are marketing their products properly, who are taking control of their listings. Right? Furthermore, this product isn't even available in the current line if you were to go to calvinklein.com. So you have this outdated inventory, and as fashion is changing, as other trends are changing, the brands need to be able to keep up with this pace, and they need to be able to take control of their listings. So for a brand like this, we get started with Seller Central. We apply for what's called brand registry, where we get the ultimate control to dictate what our listings look like. We can discontinue products if we so choose. We can push more visitors there. We can optimize those listings to increase the conversion rate and not only maximize the opportunity of consumers who are already looking for us, but also capture market share from competitors. With Seller Central, we have a lot of tools at our disposal to get that listing to show up the way that the brand wants, and this is truly what it looks like when you maximize the opportunity with Amazon. It is a built-out Seller Central account with optimized listings. The results are very powerful. You can develop a $1 million channel a year within just the first year alone. These are direct sales that are coming in through Amazon at extremely favorable margins. You can also improve your brand reputation with fewer returns and less complaints. You can also anticipate year-over-year growth between 20 and 30% beyond that first year on those revenue marks as you continue to expand into this channel. And this is all done through Seller Central by taking control of those listings. So that's really the theme here. And for folks who want to do that and recognize that their current presence on Amazon is a problem, this is going to be the primary route to go. The next example that we'll look at is with Vendor Central, the vendor relationship. Here we see happy gentleman looking at the computer. He just locked in the contract with Amazon, and he knows that they're going to do all the work now to get his products listed and his brand's products listed on Amazon and selling. He's going to receive purchase orders, and those checks are just going to come in, right? He fulfills the purchase orders. The orders are coming in. It's very minimal impact on the business, particularly in the beginning of the relationship. What will start to happen here is we'll see that relationship fray. One of the most common examples, which is why we've pulled this particular listing page up, is that there's a lack of control over pricing. Lack of control over pricing and lack of control over which products are going to be featured and promoted on Amazon is going to start to fray this relationship. We see here for this particular dress, once again from Calvin Klein, this particular dress here is being sold for $69.99. This same product on Calvin Klein's website is being sold for $119 retail price. Even with a promotional offer like 25% off discount or other discounts that they would add, such as free shipping, it's extremely difficult for Calvin Klein to compete on this product. Why would a consumer buy it from calvinklein.com or one of their brick and mortar partners when they could go onto Amazon and get their free shipping at a much lower price point? Because of that vendor-central relationship, Calvin Klein forfeits the ability to tightly regulate price. They also lose some of the ability on which products they're going to list and which they'll focus on. Amazon gets to dictate those things. So in these cases, we typically deal with a scenario where a vendor is frustrated, they feel a lack of empowerment, they feel like across all of their partners and their direct-to-consumer business, they're suffering, and they're just throwing away all these margin points because Amazon is comfortable taking a very thin, a very tight margin when they enter that wholesale relationship. Right? We heard earlier over $100 billion in revenue last year. This is the type of organization that can survive with razor-thin margins. Right? This is the type of organization that doesn't care if your brand is cheapened by those lower price points. Right? If you are concerned about how your brand is perceived and you're concerned about losing those points, losing those direct sales, absolutely there's an opportunity to do more on the Amazon front. Typically what that looks like is starting to tighten the reins on that Vendor Central account. It also consists of opening up a Seller Central account, picking which products you're going to list, and making sure that you're having the most emphasis on your new lines, as opposed to the old stuff, which was already uploaded, already listed. Right? You have more incentive to drive folks to your new lines than your old stuff than Amazon does. Amazon has already done the work, they just want to sell. Right? You also have more control with marketing. Right? That's the other opportunity that we can provide, and this is what we do for folks. We make sure that their best products and the products that they want to specifically move are the ones that we're marketing and focused on. The results of this approach are very powerful. We've been able to drive really impressive results, including increased margin by 16 points. Increasing margin on sales happening from Amazon by 16 points. And anybody who gets to deliver that up the ladder to a C-level executive is going to look like a champion. So this has been very powerful for folks. We've also been able to drive sales on your new seasonal lines by 78% year-over-year increase. And with our expertise in marketing on Amazon and how to manipulate these different options for how to sell, we've been able to improve the advertising cost of sales from 20% down to 11%. So almost half the cost of marketing, we've been able to drive incremental revenue and help folks leverage that. This is actually a good segue here on the advertising side of things, because regardless of how you sell on Amazon, there are additional things that we can do to grow sales, to capture market share, to acquire those coveted prime customers. And so now we're going to segue into two of the primary tools that we use to help folks market on Amazon. Those are going to be Amazon Marketing Services and Amazon Media Group. There's also Amazon advertising on here, but similar to Vendor Express, this is less commonly used, newer program, so we're going to focus on the first two here. So the basics of Amazon Marketing Services is that we have a cost per click type of marketing. There are 3 different placements that we can tap into on Amazon.com, Amazon.ca, right, Canada, and this is going to help brands capture market share and acquire customers for important keywords for their brand. If a brand wants to capture any customer who's looking for a ruched dress, or they're looking for a cable knit sweater, or any of these keyword terms that they've determined are important for their business, or that they have products that are a perfect fit for, we can make sure that their ad shows up, like we see here in this screenshot. This is a headline search ad. You can get to the top of the search results simply by having a tactical approach to Amazon Marketing Services. You can also bid on sponsored product ads to make sure that your product actually shows up at the top of the results for important keywords. There's even a third type of placement, which is product display ads, where we can make sure that consumers shopping for certain competitor products or certain complementary products are going to see our advertisements and they're going to see our products. Amazon Marketing Services is extremely powerful. The returns are very lucrative. And on average, for every dollar that we spend on Amazon Marketing Services, we drive approximately $9 in revenue. So it's a very lucrative opportunity for anybody selling on Amazon, whether you're Seller Central or Vendor Central. The other area we'll focus on is Amazon Media Group. I'm going to touch on this briefly here. This is a display advertising program that Amazon makes available for brands who want to sell more on Amazon. You can tap into display placements on mobile. You can tap into display placements on desktop and tablet, even on Kindle. And these placements are available through Amazon Media Group. You're able to target, just like targeted display advertising, to in-market segments, meaning segments of consumers who are in the market for buying your product within the next 30 days. And this is a very powerful way to make sure that your ads are seen in a typical ad banner, display ad banner format, to make sure that they're aware of your products either on your website or on Amazon.com. So for brands that want to accelerate sales, you tap them into Amazon Media Group, make sure that they're leveraging the best that display ads has to offer for driving incremental Amazon sales. So these are the 2 different ways that we help folks market and promote their products on Amazon. They're both very powerful, and combined with the different ways to sell with those seller accounts, there's a really big opportunity for revenue, for improved margin, for improved growth, and for taking control of your brand reputation on Amazon. So with that, I'll hand it back over to Nikki, who can talk a little bit about getting started.
Thanks, Kevin. Getting started is typically a 6-step process. First, we want to determine your strategy based on your goals with the help of Lumen Digital, of course. Then we'll open up a seller account on your behalf. And then third, prepare your listings for launch. So as Kevin mentioned, there is definitely an organic search component to your listings, especially when you want to rank for relevancy. So that's part of that third step there as far as preparing your listings for launch. Of course, we'll be optimizing your listings throughout the program. And once your listings have launched and we've determined your strategy, that's when we'll really determine your marketing strategy as well. Once your items sell, they'll be shipped, via FBA if you've opted into that program, assuming you have. And then finally, everyone's favorite part, you earn revenue. So with that takes us to our Q&A section of the webinar. And it looks like we already have a few questions that have been asked along the way. If you have any more, please submit them now, and we'd be happy to answer them. I'm just going to read the first one here. It says, how do I make sure Amazon doesn't cannibalize our own web performance? I'll start by saying that it is based on your goal, and it is based on the strategy that we work with you on prior to your launch. So whether your goals are liquidation or new customer acquisition, you really want to aim for reaching that new Prime audience on Amazon, and think of it as an extension of your website and not a mirror. So like Kevin mentioned, there are things we want to do as far as your strategy, and looking at the examples he provided as far as pricing and really looking at reputation and the customer experience, I think is really key to not cannibalizing your own web performance. Do you have anything you'd like to ask, Kevin? Yeah,
this is a great question. We do get this quite often. The Prime consumer is extremely loyal. And in the examples that we shared, which Nikki was alluding to, we saw that in many cases products are available on Amazon cheaper and with free shipping from an organization that is bought from and handles customer service, particularly on the fulfillment side of things, day in and day out. Their customer service is pretty much unbeatable when it comes to returning a product, getting a product replaced if it was lost or stolen, just helping through that whole process. So those Prime customers are super loyal. Amazon is doing a lot of things to keep those Prime customers loyal. And more often than not, when we actually run the numbers, when we actually do this for folks, we see that brands are able to tap into that Prime consumer base who is more likely than not more comfortable buying from another brand other than you, as opposed to not buying through Prime. So people are going to be buying from Amazon.com, whether they're buying from you, whether they're buying from your competitor, or whether they're buying from a reseller. So you might as well take advantage of that. And like I said, more often than not, the data is going to show that this isn't going to cannibalize your own web sales, your own direct-to-consumer. And if anything, if you don't take control of your listings and you don't take control of how your brand is represented on Amazon, that's when you're going to cannibalize your own sales.
Okay, great. Thank you. The second question here reads, where does Amazon typically live within a brand's organization? This is also another question we get a lot. A lot of times, especially on the vendor side, it does typically live with the wholesaler resale department, unfortunately. I think Kevin and I would argue that those groups really aren't equipped or digital marketing experts. So as we've shown today, and the different opportunities as far as reaching the audience through either PPC campaigns or really optimizing your listings as far as organic search, it really should be left to the digital marketing experts to manage your presence on Amazon, and should be managed by the digital marketing group.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. We totally agree on this front. And just to add some more kind of flavor for this one, when you look at some of the listings and you see what is being represented on those listings about the bullet points or the title or the description, right? These are clearly not products that are listed by a marketer. However, Amazon.com is its own ecosystem. It has an algorithm that determines results, just like SEO on Google. If your listings are not optimized for SEO, they won't show up. There's not only things on the listing that are very important for ranking on SEO within Amazon, but also there's things on the back end, what we refer to as metadata, that's communicated to Amazon. And in 9 times out of 10, listings that we look at are way below the mark in terms of optimization. So they're not even ranking for these very important SEO terms. And then you also have PPC, right? This is a marketing exercise. If you don't have roots and fundamentals in how paid search advertising works, you will simply not be equipped to drive the types of results that a marketer would be able to drive. So the real crux of this comes down to Amazon as an ecosystem. You are doing SEO and PPC. These are marketing activities. Marketing activities generally should be held by marketers. But in most cases, right, Amazon is going to impact all different departments throughout an organization. And oftentimes we'll have to work with that reseller team or a sales team. We'll have to work with the marketers. We'll have to work with back-end operations to talk through fulfillment. And these are conversations that we're really comfortable having and can talk through the impacts and the upside for all the departments when an organization works together. So hopefully that's some more context for everybody.
Yeah, that's great. And then it looks like we have one more question. It says, how do I figure out how much inventory I need for Amazon? The short answer to that is it depends. It really does depend on the goals of your Amazon program and what the business can actually support. So once we determine what the strategy is going out in that initial step for your Amazon program, that'll kind of guide us to the answers for how much inventory is actually needed. And then we'll definitely work with you on figuring that out and really supporting the business on how to buy into an Amazon program.
Yeah, and the nice thing about taking control, right, that word control, which I've used a lot, a bit of a broken record on that word, but control not only applies to how your listings appear, but also what inventory you send, the quantities you send, your ability to move that inventory as well. So when we have control, we get access to a bunch of different levers. We can pull those levers to move inventory more aggressively. We can pull levers to pull inventory out of warehouses. And there's a lot of things that we can do with that control on the inventory front. Whether you're working with Amazon today with purchase orders, whether you're just about to embark on taking advantage of the Amazon opportunity, there's going to be a learning curve with how much inventory to send and what the market will support in terms of quantities and which products and sizes they're going to buy. So that's a process that we're very comfortable with. And when we have those levers in place, it's very smooth to be able to help folks get ramped up and sell as much as possible without any of that excess inventory or too much effort or time-consuming tasks and activities with trying to keep things in stock. So this is definitely an area that we are pretty well equipped to deal with as well.
Great, thanks. That looks like that was our last question. So that concludes our webinar for today. Thanks again for joining us. We really do look forward to working with you on your Amazon program. If you do want to hear more about improving your Amazon reputation or receiving better margins on your current Amazon program, or if you just have any follow-up questions from this webinar, please email amazon@bluemoondigital.co. Again, that's amazon@bluemoondigital.co, or contact your current account director. Thanks again.